Okay, Shalom, Shalom, Kwam Yasha'Allah, Kuhaloyim La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Bahashim, Chahadash, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and led by the Spirit, taught us this beautiful truth, and just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akhwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh to the best of their ability. This is Yah Hanan Nawach. Just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And we're just meditating on Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. And it reads, "Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways." And we know that that word Satan, it goes into adversary, or being adverse to the actual scriptures, being adverse to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's what that word Satan actually goes into. It's not talking about some red guy underground. You know, he's got the little triton or the pitchfork, and you know, he's got this pointy tail. He's got the two little horns, and he's waiting around this burning fire of bubbling lava, and you see skeletons floating up and down in it, and he's just tormenting everybody. No, that's not what the word Satan is going into. And the word devil actually goes into a deceiver, a slanderer, a false accuser, basically. So when people hear the word devil, Satan, you know, or they hear the word Lucifer, which is only in the Bible one time, they think of this red guy underground, which is something that was made up by the so-called white man. And we say so-called white because he's actually red in color. And they are the ones that are the oppressors, and we're to choose none of their ways. It says, "Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways." Right? Because if you choose his way, you're going to be destroyed, because that's the only place that it leads to. See, they're walking in their glory right now, you know, because this is their kingdom, Esau, Edom, which is the biblical name for the so-called white race, and we're not to be like them. The Lord told us, don't take on the customs of these other nations. Don't be like these other nations. And when I thought about that, that's even going off into something as far as fear and doubt. Esau is the one that has that doubtful, fearful mentality, so to speak, that attitude. You know, you have some of them, don't get me wrong, you'll have some of them that, you know, that'll go forth and do stuff like that, you know, but really in reality, a lot of the times they're tempting the Lord thy God, you know, when it comes to what they call their bravery, or their bravery, you know, so to speak. Motherfuckers all out in the woods, you know, walking with bears and fucking with tigers and fucking with all kinds of different animals. They skydiving, and those are things really too we're not supposed to envy them and choose none of their ways. We're not supposed to be jumping out of no fucking planes. You know, we're not supposed to be, you know, fucking climbing Mount Everest and swimming with sharks and shit like that, you know? Now, a person might say, well, no, well, you're a fearful person. Well, we fear the Lord. And what he said to envy thou not, he told us to not to tempt him. That's what we fear, tempting him and falling into some bullshit, you know, because if you tempt the Lord, the Lord, he can knock you off, you know, and that's what happens to Esau all the time. But I just wanted to point out the fact that when it comes to envying Esau, I thought about his doubt level, because he doesn't believe in the Most High. He doesn't believe in Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, which are the true names of the Father and Son. He doesn't believe, he doesn't trust in the Lord. He trusts in himself. And to trust in yourself, that's envying him. That's doing, the Lord said to choose none of his ways. You're not to trust in yourself like that, you know, because with that comes pride. We're to always give honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for everything that we have. Us being, us breathing, us having health, us having a roof over, even, you know, the things that may go bad. The scriptures even talks about being cheerful when calamity comes upon you, so to speak, because we understand that it's Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that actually brought that particular calamity upon us. Esau doesn't think that way. He believes in his abilities. He thinks that, you know, everything that he has, he he got it himself, as if he's controlling his actual breathing, when the Lord can just snatch his breath from him and send his spirit back, take his spirit back to the spirit world. But we're not to envy Esau, man. And again, I don't know why it's just the focus was on just fear, because the Lord said to be strong and courageous. Esau's not going to embed that into you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Last thing he wants is for you to be strong and courageous. He wants that for himself. And and on the left-hand side, he deals in that way. He's strong and courageous when it comes to some left-hand sided shit. But he doesn't want us so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to be strong and courageous like how the Lord told us to be on the right-hand side, because they understand that power comes with that. And especially if we're moving in the name of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai. Like, even with that, he doesn't want you to call on the true names of the Father and Son. He gave you a whole nother name and a whole nother look of a God that's not even yours. And you're choosing his way. You're choosing his idol. You're choosing, that's if you're not following, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. And I was just thinking of it from a fear level, because Esau, he wants you to constantly be in fear, man. And that goes against what the Lord said, because if you trust in the Lord, what are you fearing? There's plenty of scriptures on trusting in the Lord. If you trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai wholeheartedly, truly, and sincerely, you're not going to be afraid. And we know that we got things coming down the pipe that's going to come in these last days, but we're to focus on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and trust on him, because we understand that it's actually him that's bringing these calamities to the planet. We all have a lot. See, that understanding, that's why the scriptures talks about wisdom is the principal thing. With all thy getting, get understanding. And with that understanding, it comes, knowing that the Lord, he's in control. So if he's in control, what is it that you're going to do? Like, you can't stop nothing. That scripture talks about you can't add 1 cubit. Matter of fact, I'm at this light. I can probably get it real quick. This is going to be a quick one, because I'm pretty much at my destination. Where's that scripture at? Yeah, Matthew 6:27, it says, which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? Like, what are you going to do? You can't change nothing. You can't make yourself grow 2 inches taller, even if you try to. You got these people, but see, that's some left-hand sided shit too when I think about it. These guys that's out here, they get these leg extensions. They go through all this pain and pay all this money to become, trying to become 6 feet tall, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". That's Esau on the left-hand side. He's trying to, and that's what he does. He wants to enhance you in a way that the Lord didn't even create you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Lord gave you everything that you need. The way that you look, he created you that very way. But Esau tells you can go and get tits, you can go get a new ass, you can go get a new nose. And that's the reason why you'll see a lot of these women, they don't come home from those surgeries. You see? They don't come home from those surgeries a lot of the times. A lot of the times that shit go foul. It goes wrong. And they asses die trying to enhance their looks, when the Lord didn't design for them to be enhancing their looks like that. See, we're going to get new bodies. The Lord is going to give us those new bodies. And when those new bodies come, that's going to be him changing us. You know what I'm saying? When he wants us to be changed. Not when you want to be changed and how you think you should look. Motherfuckers going to get their lips done. Oh, I don't like this about me. I don't like that about me. Well, the Lord created you. He created you exactly like how he wanted to create you. Right? So we're not to envy the oppressor. We're not to choose the ways of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, because nothing good is going to come from it. It's temporal. See, everything with him is temporary. He gives you a temporary look, or